It's cold. It's like -6. Look at this. Oof. Whew. I'm so excited. No. Luka.
Be careful what you say now. I have control.
Hilarious. So, I am really excited about this year. Like, really excited. I don't know if you're as excited as I am.
I don't know.
I've been, like, dreaming about this day for the last week. On Saturday, I was like, oh, it's so close. And then on Sunday, I was really excited. And then Monday, I was like, oh, can it already get here? And now it's going to be tomorrow.
Why do you think that is?
I think it is because partially, like, part of my love language is giving gifts and receiving gifts as well. But honestly, the idea of Olivia opening presents or, like, getting presents makes me so happy. Oh, it would be so easy to spoil her. In America, it's like I'd never heard of it or ever experienced it. But tomorrow is what they call here Sveti Miklaus, which it translates to Saint Nicholas. And it's Saint Nicholas's feast day. So I guess if you were in the U.S. and you were Catholic and you celebrated like saints' feast days, then you would know of Saint Nicholas. And one of my friends who's Catholic said, oh yeah, we would get like presents in our shoes, which was super cute.
That's funny.
Here, when I met Luka's family, it was like they didn't celebrate giving gifts on Christmas Day. No. It was like never gifts on Christmas Day. It was like Sveti Miklaus, Saint Nicholas, brings you gifts on the 6th of December, because that's his day. And then on Christmas Day, like on Christmas Eve, you have the church service that's like a really big deal. And on Christmas, you just celebrate with each other. This was a really like difficult for me to to get my head around, and especially because I could not fathom not doing gifts on Christmas Day. It felt so, I don't know if it was anticlimactic, it's just different from the way I grew up, and I think how all Americans grow up. It took me a little bit of like, this is strange, I don't think I like this. And then last year, Olivia was really old enough to actually like enjoy getting gifts.
Yes, she understood.
She understood
that's for
like
her.
Sveti Miklaus. Like she didn't really get that Sveti Miklaus is coming like until she walked out and was like, what's all of it? We had to really kind of make it exciting.
Hype it up.
Hype it up, yeah.
Like we were way more excited than she was in the beginning. I really look forward to you getting my present and Olivia getting the presents. It's funny, but I'm so grateful for all the things I have. There's so few things I really want.
Tell us about your childhood. What Sveti Miklaus meant to you. Was it magical? Was it exciting?
For me, it was so magical. So the thing that I remember was the most magical was in the morning when we got up. And it wasn't even the present. It was always like just the presents, but it was the hype that was around it.
So also though, you would always be, if it was like on a weekday, you would go to school. You still have to go to school or still have to go to kindergarten. But you would tell your parents to wake you up.
Wake me up real early, like 1.5 hours early. And I remember every time, like I started, if there was like Legos, I start building it in the morning and have to let it go. And then it would be better if I didn't go to school because that day was lost. I did nothing, paid zero attention. It wasn't all material things. It was just like the experience of something that I wanted, wrote for to get, and then magically on that day it was there. And even when I knew my parents did it, it didn't take away. Like, the hype was still there, partially because my sister didn't know.
Your younger sister, you can still fool
Yeah.
her. Tell us about one of your, like, best gifts.
It was definitely the Lego truck and the Viper. Oh, the
Like how
Viper.
you still get excited about it.
I still have the Viper. It's in mint condition.
So the Lego truck, was it Technique? Like
Lego Technic. It was pneumatic. It had a little motor on it, and then later on, I obviously souped it up so it would do things faster.
obviously. So how long did it take you to put it together?
So this is the funny story. I started putting it together. It was ages 16 and on, and I was 12. It's 2/3 done thereabout. And even in between, my dad kind of helped me. And then at one point at 8 p.m., sometime I go to bed, and I wake up in the morning and it's like 99% finished because my dad finished it. He worked until 3 a.m. to finish it.
Just because he wanted to.
He got carried. I don't know. He got carried away.
Why is Saint Nicholas different from Santa Claus for you? Like for
How I was raised.
Yeah, how you were raised, and because in America it's like, oh yeah, Santa Claus brings presents. Here it's like, no, Saint Nicholas brings presents. And I remember when I came here, Luka was like, we don't have Santa Claus. And I was like, well, what do you have? They're like, Sveti Claus. And I said, well, what does that stand for? And he's like, Saint Nicholas. And I said, well, that's Santa Claus. Now I understand that it's very different in the terms of, in America, when you talk about Santa Claus, you're talking about somebody who is like not like a very mythical fictional character. And here Saint Nicholas, and it's not just here, but Saint Nicholas the person actually existed. He was actually a really good person. There's like historical figure. That's like a big difference for me. I was like, it's Saint Nicholas, it's Santa Claus. And they're like, no, it's not. And now I kind of get the difference, but I'm curious for you, like.
So for me, the difference was, and this is something that we heard through childhood, was that in America, the real meaning of Christmas is being taken away by superficial things. The presents, the gifts, all the rituals you have around that might take away from the real gift that comes on Christmas. In tradition, you really separate, or at least in our tradition, I can speak for my family and the close relatives, the real separation of the saint who brings presents and the actual Christmas. And bringing the two together, the point of it is to substitute the meaning of Christmas with other, important family values, but they're more focused on consumer and advertising and the hype, which takes away from the family. The religious nature of it kind of fades away, and the family aspect and the gift-giving aspect to one another kind of takes its place. My family, the grandparents and stuff, really saw danger in that. And everybody watching movies, they thought, isn't that sad? And of course in the movies it's not the way it really is. Mm-hmm. But it kind of is. When I was in America, it's not that different. It's Christmas, yay, celebrate. People look forward the most to the presents.
Okay, so that was the difference between the two. You were raised being taught about Saint Nicholas and this really good man and what...
Right, this really good man who gave away essentially his fortune to help people in need, and he would do it anonymously. Uh-huh. So if you go to church on Saint Nick, they explain actually the saint usually, and they say these things. They say he gave things to people in need when they didn't see, so it was anonymous, and so therefore he did a lot of good deeds to people. Essentially, he was a very rich man, and he gave his fortunes away to the people in need, and it's a very noble thing, and that's what's celebrated, is to give. And bring joy to people by giving them when they're in need. Now, obviously, even Saint Nick is more of a consumer or consumerism holiday or thing to do. But I think the essence, as long as you keep it and you frame it correctly, I think it has great validity.
In your family, whenever we celebrate, it is all about the kids, which for most people on Christmas celebrating Santa Claus, it's also the same. But it was just like really exciting because they were saying like, oh, what a good man. Like, how did he know what you wanted? The last few days I keep asking Olivia like, oh, and then we go to sleep and today I could be like, what's tomorrow gonna be? And she goes, Sveti Claus is coming. And it's nice in a way to say like, yeah, he's such a good man and he brings like gifts for people, but that's kind of the tradition here.
Yeah.
And I can't wait. I'm so excited. My family was like, you're gonna fool your children, you're gonna lie to your children, tell them that somebody else is bringing them presents. And my thought is like, she believes in giants and wizards and Minnie and Mickey, and she believes in Thor and Captain America. This is just one more of those things. Like, it's so ridiculous to me to try to tell her that he's not really gonna bring you presents and we're giving you presents when she still believes in like all things magical and wonderful. And I think that's such a beautiful, precious stage of life where you still believe all those things are magically possible. Last year, we woke up at like 4:30.
That was ridiculous.
Made everything ready. We're like super excited. And she was kind of an early riser anyways. We got everything ready at like 5:30. We were super excited. Everything's ready. We go in. We sit down on our bed and just watch Olivia. Wait for her to wake up. And of course,
she didn't.
She slept in. And I think we were sitting there for, I don't know, an hour and a half before we finally like...
Poke her.
Olivia.
That was the most difficult part for me last year, I think. But last year, again, like we said, she didn't even know what to expect. And I think this year she knows exactly what to expect. So it's going to be fun.
Way more fun. And we have Leia now, and Leia will have... Like, Leia's not going to know anything, but Olivia will be excited for Leia. Olivia gets to open her things and things for Leia, because
it's the ultimate.
She'll open them for Leia and give them to Leia. Also, you feel like it's exciting that everything is kind of like overflowing and abundant and looking like...
Well, that just makes it more impressive, I think. Like, when you walk out and you're over there and you look to the table, and if the table's full, like, you think, oh my goodness, like some of this has to be mine.
So, those are some of the traditions. I really like this. I really like celebrating, like, having such an emphasis on gifts earlier, and then actually celebrating Christmas, which actually we don't really do because, like, this year and last year, we were here for Sveti Miklauš. We celebrated it.
Yeah.
But then we went to America and had Christmas with my family. That's our tradition here.
Yeah,
I'm very excited. We do it. I'm not really sure I'm going to share it with you. Like, I don't know.
It's not internetable.
No, it is. Like, we could totally make it into, like, this amazing, like, kids opening the presents. Oh, so exciting. But I just, like, some things I feel like I want them to just be our family and our personal experiences, and I don't want to share that with everybody, and especially, like, our kids. Making a video of my kid getting gifts and opening gifts is so materialistic in a way that I'm just like, look at all the things I could give my kid. It's the same way, like, whenever I get gifts or, like, whenever you've bought me something, I never post it on the internet, be like, thanks, babe, for my amazing Armani watch. Really, there's, like, a lot of places in the world where people can't afford to give their kids gifts.
Right.
People who can't even live under the imagination that they could possibly, like, get gifts like that. We are, to them, the 1%. And I just feel like it's so shallow to be like, amazing photo of my kids, or my, like,
with a brand new pony.
Yeah. We're not getting her a
I
pony,
know.
by the way.
That's why it's funny. Rode a pony.
She did want a horse, and I was like, where would we keep it? And she says,
oh, she has a solution for that.
Okay. If I can't, she goes, okay, if I can't get a horse, then I really want an elephant.
Yeah, because that's better.